This is great! I love it! Here we go, baby. I'm gonna help you be successful. That's my job. Believe it. I've been doing this 27 years. That's a fact. Disney ESPN ain't gonna help you because none of them know the right side. Trust me, they know nothing. Let's kick their ass. They don't know a damn thing about handicap. And I'm coming after you, Disney. I'm the guru. I am Sportsguru.vegas. That name was earned by picking winners. That's how it works. Make no mistake, I'm here to win. That's right, gurus. Welcome to the show. Sorry, I had a little technical problem there. sound issue. Welcome to the show, gurus. Today, Sports Guru Vegas, coming to you live from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, greatest city in the world. Not so beautiful lately. We've had a lot of cold temperatures, very cold and windy at times. So it can get tough out here. But it's a great city. Most of the time, the weather's beautiful. It's hot 2 months out of the year. Other than that, it's very reasonable to be here. And I wanted to do the show today. Some of our games will have gone off, one game, but I'm doing the show mainly to just do a follow up over the weekend and what happened. We didn't do a show yesterday, as you guys probably are aware of, and the reason why is there just wasn't enough there to do the show. I did release a round robin on Twitter and TikTok, which went 2-1. So the Rams got there, and we split UCLA and Murray State. We sent that out earlier. So, dudes, I did want to do the show today because there are two more playoff games this afternoon. One of them we're going to release. That's already actually been released on TikTok and Twitter today because I had to get some basketball games out with it, Guru. So you probably already saw an alert if that's what I've been telling you for a couple of weeks now. Well, ever since we're in our fourth week of TikTok and Twitter, was shooting videos with our picks on them. So that gives you plenty of time to go on the those platforms. You don't have to watch the show, meaning we want you to watch the show, obviously, but to make it more convenient for you and also for me to attract more followers, we decided to do these short videos, and it's working out. More and more people are following these picks, and they should be. We're winning. We had a very good weekend in the NFL. We hit every playoff game. We did have the Chiefs on the money line, and they did cover, but I bet both anyway. So, but every game covered. I think we had obviously the Rams yesterday, and then we had the Chiefs, and then we had the Texans. And again, we talked about that game on Friday, and I told you, gurus, that this young man Stroud's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And there's every game I just keep getting reassured of that, right? It's pretty special to watch these young, amazing talents, right? Because we know they've been exceptional for most of their careers in high school and Pop Warner. You're talking about a young man who's very, very big. Stroud, he's just a presence, and what a tremendous game he had against a very good defense. But Flacco hasn't played most of the year, and when the playoffs come, and again, I want to give credit to Ryan, the coach for the Texans. Tremendous job his first year as a head coach from the Niner organization. When you win with Guru, you get your name remembered, right? I struggled remembering that name, but he's coach of the year. Certainly, I feel there's no doubt about it, he's coach of the year. What a tremendous job. I'm 58 now, Guru. So when I started doing this, I was Ryan's age or younger when I started looking at sports betting and all that. And, it's really nice to see young people coming with a lot of energy and a lot of talent, right? We were talking about it. Look, think about this, Gurus. A team that was on the bottom last year, Houston, and he gets a rookie. They draft a rookie, and they're in the second round of the postseason. And I just think that's exceptional. Our show's about being exceptional, right? We talk about that in the show. We feel we're exceptional. I think our games do the talking. We had another winning weekend this weekend. We did win in the college basketball. We made a profit. We hit a one round robin, and we went 2-1 on a couple others and 0-1. I think on that included the football Gurus. So the whole day is basically we made some money, and then we went 2-1 yesterday. We made a little more money. So now for myself, I had some in game opportunities on the Rams because we split UCLA Murray yesterday, so I was able to. I did like the Rams. I was a little worried because Green Bay won outright, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And Stephen A covers all that stuff because he doesn't pick winners. So what they do is they spend their whole show talking about what already happened, right? They don't talk about winning like we did. We won. We released 4 round robins on Saturday. We released one on Sunday. They didn't release a damn thing. All they're doing is making fun of people's failures. And you know what? That's too easy, Gurus. Sure, we have fun doing that too, especially when we're betting Green Bay. Now, did I release Green Bay? I did not. Right? Did I bet Green Bay? Yes. When they scored a touchdown, they were up 7. I went to bet Dallas. I looked at the spread. It said -3.5 Dallas. I said, screw that. Green Bay's winning. I bet them. All right. Now, I didn't release it, but I did that on my own personal bet. And I do that a lot. I don't just obviously bet what I tell you, Gurus, but I give you the best bets. And but Dallas. I don't want to talk very much because we didn't really have the game, but they're gonna have to start over again. It looks like that'll be fun to watch that happen. Or they might get. I was talking to Mark. They might get Belichick, right? Now here's what I told him to do. Take Belichick. You got nothing to lose. Keep all your players. You already paid for most of them. Keep them. Keep Prescott, even though he's terrible in the postseason. Keep him. And let Belichick bring in all of his assistants, right? And then you can blame him if you lose at least. So better than nothing because you're not going to win with this team. You're not going to win with this quarterback. Forgive me. The team's probably better. The quarterback's just terrible. He has no confidence. And Belichick can barely score any points. So how's he going to help? But you know what? Do it anyway. It makes good news. Hell, Jones's team's I think worth $6 billion now. What does he care? He paid $100 million for him. So it doesn't really matter anymore. Yes, he'd like to go to a Super Bowl and win it. And you know what? That's random, but you got to put the special things together. You got to be patient, build with a mixture of players. And again, I'm not knocking Dallas. They had a fantastic regular season at home. They played a lot of teams that didn't have winning records. They did beat them. They covered, and I give a team a lot of credit for that. But to keep showing up in the playoffs and failing every year, but we're not going to spend much time on that. I want to focus on the Rams, who played a tremendous game. They covered for us. They played an exceptional game, in my opinion, on the road. Stafford showed tremendous courage, right, by staying in the game despite having injuries that were very clearly visible. I mean, he's probably got his hand bandaged today, and he would have been hard to play next week anyway. He had a lot of damage on his hand. He hit that defender as he was coming in on the helmet. He also had his shoulders stepped on. And again, he got sandwiched towards the end of the game. I was very concerned about our bet. But he did. He came back, and he's a warrior, Stafford. I give that guy a lot of credit for the Rams. That Stafford's a tough quarterback. Hats off. Hard. I mean, what a tremendous performance. Thank you for covering. That helped us. And by the way, 3-0 in the postseason, Gurus. There you go. See, the legacy's being built. Okay, that's not by accident. You have to be good and exceptional to keep picking these games, and that's what we're doing. We have our backbone is our college basketball, and we're going to get into a couple. round robins today. We do have two of them to talk about, and we will do that. But there was so much going on over the weekend. I wanted to catch you guys up on that. We do have two games today. We're going to bet the Eagles tonight. We'll talk about that later. In fact, I'll bring that up pretty soon. Um, but really excited, about the future. College wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, Gurus, but we won. And that's enough. There's enough games there. There's good bets. I'll just put out those combinations, and we're going to get a winner out of those. And that's how we do it, Gurus. And the round robin is benefiting us lately more. And that was going to happen because it wasn't benefiting us before. And that usually is part of what happens in investing, right? Whatever isn't working, if you're good, it will. And as long as everything stays consistent. And so we're grateful, Gurus, for where we're at right now. We're one of the top handicappers. Our games are reflecting that. I'm getting a lot of followers on TikTok, Twitter, because they're seeing the consistency out there. They're seeing that I'm not an overnight sensation. I'm going to be here to be successful. It's a long-term commitment, and I've been doing this for 25 years, helping people make money. So I'm not going anywhere. I'd be doing this if I wasn't doing a show. I'd be doing this work for myself. So it's okay. Yes, it's a little extra work, but I'm starting to enjoy it, actually. I'm getting good at it. I'm learning how to get better. I have some people that want to help me do some other things, and I'm keeping an open mind on the direction of the business and how we move forward. But again, we have a lot of work to do, Gurus. We have a lot of money we have to, not money. Well, there's money that needs to be earned, but there's also, we need a lot of followers so that we can get paid advertisement. That's what I'm working on right now. That takes time, Gurus. You just got to keep putting out a good product, support it, back it up, be here for your viewers and your followers. Show them that you care. They know I'm working hard, Gurus. You guys know that. I share that every day on the show with you. So anyway, we're gonna go to the first round robin, Gurus, today. I want to talk about that with you, and we're going to take. So right now we have the. Let me get this off here. We have the NCAA Grambling on the road. This is a SWAC conference, smaller conference in college basketball. Where we chop, but we had a winning weekend, and there's enough good bets in college to keep coming back to make our profit we're seeking. So we're doing what we call a mixed parlay today. We have a college basketball game. They're on the road actually at A&M in Florida. They're a money line pick 'em. They're a small, like 2.5, 2 on the road. So we're going to eliminate those points and take the money line Grambling. Then we're going to go into the NBA. We like the Pistons at home. And why do we choose the Pistons? Washington's laying 5.5, 6. They shouldn't be laying against almost anyone except this team. And to me, that's too big of a number. We've been winning with Detroit, so I have no problem taking this game. I have a little on the money line too. It doesn't say money line optional, but it certainly is for this game as well. And I always bet it, Gurus. For you new followers who are new to the show, welcome. And just so you know, we're betting round robins. That's what I'm promoting on the other platforms, TikTok, Twitter, X. And I'm doing that on this show as well. It's a parlay. You can even parlay instead, but it's the way I do it. It's a strategy I've been using for about 3 years now, and it helps me manage my money better. It also gives me an acceleration, a multiplier when we win, when we have good runs, which we just got over the last 2 weeks, which was pretty good. So it to me, it's I like it. I only have to bet the games once. They're mostly money lines anyway, and so that's why I like it. And for me, it's just it makes investing and sports betting more enjoyable to me. And I want to let everyone know you have to be at another level of sophistication to be able to play these, because you have to know, you have to pick 3 games. Then you have to pick 3 games that are going to go 2-1 for the most part, and that takes a lot of experience, gurus. And I have that, and I've been delivering for you guys, and you know that. Anyway, so we got that. So the Eagles on the money line, gurus. Interesting game today, right? These teams played earlier in the year. The Eagles beat them in Tampa Bay on a Monday night. I know because I had Tampa Bay. It was a smaller bet I made, basically a bet I made, but it didn't win. They were dominated by this team early in the season, and I don't see that changing today. They do have some injuries, the Eagles. I think their receiver Brown's going to be out today. Nobody's really healthy at this time of the year. Nobody. There's no bye weeks. Once you get a bye, you have a better chance. But in the first week following the season, depending, now I will say this, gurus, the Eagles took the week off against the Giants, okay? And the Tampa Bay had to win at Carolina to secure the postseason. So they've been resting. You could make that argument. When they saw Dallas beating Washington at Washington handily, they pretty much knew that they were going to be playing a home game. So they took it easy. They got beat up at New York. They got their win, the Giants. I actually bet them for a little bit. I'd run. Crazy. But now that I think the Eagles are a professional team, they're focused. I think they understand this is the playoffs now. They've been struggling lately. They've lost some games against weaker teams. But I was talking to Mark earlier. I don't think that matters a whole lot. I really don't. I think what matters is do they still, to maintain greatness. And again, they weren't great last year, but they made it to the Super Bowl and they played against a great team and they did play a great game. Almost flawless. If it had been flawless, they'd have won. I mean, who can do that? But I don't think that this game is their out. I think they win this game, and I think next week's going to be very interesting. Okay, because they're going to have to play at Detroit, and that game we'll talk about next later in the week. But right now, this game they're going to win. I really believe they'll win this game. Tampa Bay barely squeezed in. I don't see Tampa. They're not as good. They've proven that already this year. They lost at home. There are some spreads involved here, but I'm just going to play the money line. That's why we took money line Eagles here because I just think they're going to be they're the better team, even with the injuries, and they're on the road. I get that, right? But they won in this team's arena stadium earlier in the year, and I don't see them they're just a better team. And I believe the number reflects that, right? I think the line is based on how they've been playing lately, it's probably right. But I think, that's a good number for us because we just want them to win. I think they do. It'll probably be a little closer this time because Tampa lost. They got their asses basically kicked and they're probably going to be playing. They're in for a hard game tonight. They don't want to lose again, but this is a playoff game. This isn't a game they're going to let down Philly. I don't see that. And they're a professional team, and I think we're going to see that today. I think Philly gets that win for us. So we have Grambling on the money line. This is probably our better bet, gurus, today. I always add about 10% to games like this overall. Pistons have been good to us lately. I think we're 2-1 our last three bets with them. So I'm going to hopefully the book's still adjusting to them. I just think Washington shouldn't be that big of a favorite almost against anybody. They're not that good of a team. I've seen both these teams play there. I don't see much of a difference personally. And then, of course, the Eagles we just talked about, they should win their first playoff game this year, and then they'll go to the Lions next week, and that'll be a hell of a game, Cruz. That's really going to be a special game. I want to congratulate the Lions for winning at home in their opening playoff game. I thought they were ready for this game. They came out aggressive, took the lead early on us. I was a little concerned we wouldn't cover. I had a feeling we wouldn't win. I knew it'd be a close game. I bought it to 4 just to make sure, and that mattered from about half of it. But the Lions did a good job. They got the job done, and the Rams played a great game too. It was a great football game to watch. I enjoyed it. And I was able to make some end game bets on the Rams that helped me make more money. So they were favorable with their in game number for most of the game. So I was able to take advantage of that. And again, gurus, we don't have that on our show right now. I don't talk a lot about that, but you can see that's where we're starting to go. That's the next thing. And I'll probably have eventually a service for that one day that I can help you out even a little more. But right now, we're keeping it simple, just releasing the round robins to you. We go into the next round robin. This is just a round robin in the NBA. Now, I want to talk about the NBA again because we are on absolute fire with this sport for almost 2 weeks straight. I mean, that was a very impressive run we went on. I'm interested to see how these games do today. I really am. The Spurs are at Atlanta. That's a big number. Hopefully all of our players are playing. The Spurs are pretty bad on the road, but that's a lot of points. And Atlanta, excuse me, is not playing that well this year. They're not. Right now, they're not even in the end game, I believe. They're fighting for that, I believe. I'll have to look at that again. The Bulls, they have Levine back, right? So we hope that Chicago. Now, Cleveland has a few players out. They've been out. We're hoping that helps with Levine coming back. Perhaps we can catch this 5 on the road. That's the reason the number's a little small. The Bulls are fighting, right? They're fighting for a playoff. The Cleveland's pretty consistent this year. They've, despite their injuries, they've been winning, and that's why they're in a pretty good position still. We just hope the Bulls, can cover the number. If they win, great. I think we went 90-10 on this, I believe, on this. And that's why I put money line as optional. Yeah, there it is right there. So, and again, it's always optional, gurus. What I do for this particular round robin, I'll probably go like 90% take the points, 10% take the money line because these teams are not as good. Obviously, Raptors are not as good as Boston. The Bulls are not as good as Cleveland, and the Spurs are not as good as Atlanta. So the chances of them winning are low. But we want to have that opportunity to go at least 2-1 on the round robin. That will accelerate the profits. Even winning 2 of these bets on the money line will accelerate our profits on this ticket. That's why I always bet a primary bet where most of the bet is on the highest percentage, which in this case would be the points. And then your secondary bet is your risky bet. But that balances the money a little more. And I always put both, and I know to do that historically. We've talked about this, gurus, and I told you the secondary bets as dogs were going to start winning, and they have. So we want to stay with that. We want to maintain that. Now, is the NBA due to win? Not really. We had a very good run, but it is due to win. It always is because, we take our time to bet good matchups. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this Mark and I have been looking at NBA together for almost 25 years, very long time. So, we know where the ups and downs, peaks and valleys are and how to manage all this injuries to players sitting out. So, there's certain indicators that we have to constantly be advised about. And you can only do that, gurus, by doing these games every day like we do. We spend a couple hours a day, at least an hour and a half, and we stay on top of all this. I was telling a young man who was helping me with my show, different asks. He asked me, well, can you show people how to win? I said, you know what? I said, it's like a painting class. I can teach you how to paint, right? But I can't help you be a great painter, but I can teach you how to paint. So, and I have. What I do on this show is I give out indicators that, once in a while, say they're on a back-to-back or something. But I told him, this is about doing on a daily basis, writing games out, looking for the best advantages per matchup. That takes a lot of work. Whatever may help you pick one team will not help you with another. So it's constantly changing and evolving. And yes, that's why I'm called the sports guru, because I've been picking winners, helping people win money in sports wagering for a long time. In 25 years, I've earned this name. And now we started at zero, right? The pandemic came, destroyed my last business on YouTube, my show. And I had to start it all over again because I was out for 3 years. I almost didn't do one. I was going to just say the hell with all of it. But I said, I can't do that. This is my passion. I love what I do. I'm good at it. I know how to manage it. I know how to help people have success at this. I know how to help them enjoy it. So I can't stop it. It's getting huge. Look, I mean, it's getting huge. It's huge. And it gets bigger every year. There's so many shows, there's competition all over the place. But I don't feel there's a whole lot of competition with Guru because no one's really walked my shoes. They haven't done what I've done. There are handicappers out there that have podcasts that are good handicappers. And if you're winning with them, I say stay with them. But the Guru's got his own thing going here. I release round robins. I don't release straight bets. That's a higher level of sophistication. And I've proven to you guys that we're having success now. We're competing and we're winning, right? We're having fun at it. That's enjoyable. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes to give you these games. There's a lot of work involved, gurus, to get you these games, but I'd be doing that anyway for myself. And I already have. That's why I know how to do it in the first place. And it is a lot of work, but I'm grateful I can get that out to you. I know it's helping you. It's empowering you to become better handicappers. And that's why I'm doing this show. Stephen A. Smith, again, I get all these. This is a great day for Stephen A., right? His ratings go through the roof. Why? Because Dallas played like shit and lost. So he looks like he knows what he's talking about. Well, first of all, he'll tell you he doesn't even bet sports at all. He does not bet sports at all. So who cares what they did? There's nothing. He's not losing anything if the Cowboys would have covered yesterday. So he does a show and he'll talk about how good Dak looked or how good Dallas. This is the media 101, gurus. This is why Trump calls it the fake news. Because what they do is they manipulate the news, which is obvious. The news, Dallas lost, right? Now, how you spend that is up to the network and the individual show. Well, guess what? We pick games here. We don't talk about the news. We make the news, gurus. I've said that over and over to you. We make the news, right? So when you're a good handicapper and you can predict the future, when you're at that level, you're making news. You're not reading the news off this bullshit. You're making it. You're creating the future. It's a pretty amazing thing to be a part of, and but it takes a lot of work, a lot of experience, and you have to love it, and we do, and that's why we did this show. Again, I've been growing mostly on the social media platforms. I like to be out there meeting people. As you gurus know, some of you met me in a casino. I haven't been able to do that as much, mainly for issues of this virus that was going around and still is. That's taking a lot of people's lives every week, which is very sad. I've been following some of it. And so for now, I'm taking it easy in here and just trying to recover, get better from having this. I have some long haul issues I've been dealing with. That's why I don't always do the show. But yesterday, I felt just getting the video out. We had one round robin was enough yesterday to get the message across. But part of this, gurus, is my health, just letting you know too. But today, when I have time to do the show, when the games are later, and I have time to go over them with Mark, and I have time to speak with you about them. That's what I like the best because I'm not as rushed, and I can spend some time talking about what's going on. So here we have the Spurs again. They're on the road, a weak road team, but we're getting a lot of points. Hopefully, we can cover that margin there. And the Bulls are getting 5. The Bulls are competing. They're trying to make it to the postseason. They've actually played better lately without Levine. So we'll have to see if Levine, he's going to have to improve the team. I'm hoping this game, they're back on track and they start playing consistently more. They do have a couple players out. Mobley's out for Cleveland. And they have a couple guys that have been out, so they're used to playing without them. They're a good team, Cleveland. They're at home, which is where they're solid at. So they're going to have to work to cover this the Bulls, but they're thinking start playing better now. The season gets away from you. A lot of competition. Raptors don't believe they're a team that's going to make the playoffs at this pace. Traditionally they've always been there with the coach Nurse, who's over at Philly, who's about ready to go to. They're building a team to win a championship. In my eyes, I see Beverly out there, good defender. He's putting the components together, and they're right there. Philly, they can do some damage. Everyone talks about Boston and Milwaukee. Look out for this Sixer team. They're playing with a lot of confidence, playing good team basketball. They got rid of Rivers, who's a loser, basically. He's won one ring with great talent, and that's all he could pull off. And I'm not going to call him a loser, but he's not a winner. Nurse is a winner. We can see how this team's playing better than they were with Rivers and Harden. Now, granted, the Clippers are playing better with Harden. We'll have to see if that lasts. But right now, Philly's up there. Toronto, again, they've lost this team a few times, but they're getting a good number at home. And it is hard to travel to Canada, right? It's hard. You got to go through customs. Just ask the Hornets, right? They got one of their players was arrested going through customs in Canada. My player, I actually bet on that team at Toronto. They lost by like 30. They arrested my player at customs. I forgot his name now. But he's their best player because Ball just came back. We lost with them yesterday. But Ball just came back. I played it on my own. And this team's a mess, the Hornets. Jordan sold this team. He got the hell out of there. Took his money. He's made good profit off that team. He only put in $500 million. They just sold for a couple billion. So, Jordan got his money. That's good. This team's in disarray. Charlotte, who cares? But going back to the Raptors, they're at home, and they are getting a good number at home. And they do have Siakam. And, let's see if they can cover that 7. That's what we're betting it for. Money line optional. So, again, you can go 10% on the money lines. I think we have a chat here. Okay, what do we got here? Mark's posting some. What's wrong in Philly? Oh, can the Eagles turn it around? Someone tell me. Yeah. Well, Mark, we've had this discussion this morning. We already had this discussion, and I told Mark that the Eagles haven't really done anything wrong. They lost a couple games. What he points out to is the Arizona game when the Cardinals beat them in Philly. Now, I didn't think, yes, they should have won, but the number was insane. It was like 12, 13 points. They lost outright. That game you can go back to as a game that if they'd have won, they still would have had to win, I believe, in Dallas, I believe. And I just think it's not that they don't care. I just think they lost the Super Bowl. They did everything right and still lost. And I think in some athletes, players' heads, they think, you know what, why bust our ass now? We can save it for the postseason. And I think that's what Philly's thinking today. I really do. I think you can say whatever you want. Look at the Cowboys yesterday, right? An example of a team that did everything right to secure a second seed. Keep in mind, they were struggling, Dallas, after they lost to the Niners. They were going to make the playoffs, but they didn't know how, when, or where. And look what happened. They started winning, right? Enough to get a two seed. That means they'd had another home game this week, probably against Philly. And instead, they're at home because they got their asses kicked yesterday against Green Bay. So Green Bay goes to San Francisco, and I believe Philly wins, and they go to Detroit. And it's going to be a great game. I don't see Tampa winning going to Detroit. I don't. And even if they do, the Lions are going to win. So Lions will beat Tampa. That's 100%. Will they beat the Eagles? We'll have to have that conversation next week. But let's go back again. Thanks, Mark, for that. Videos are short and sweet. Oh, Spurs are at 12:30, Gurus. Okay, well, hopefully you know that. That's why we gave it out anyway today, Gurus. Thanks for sharing that, Mark. They know that. I released these videos. I told Mark, just so you know, I told the Gurus I released the videos earlier. So that gave them a chance to look at them. But I already went over the games. It's okay. The main reason, Gurus, I did this show was because I wanted to talk about the weekend and a little bit about today. Because, today's a new day and it matters. So all these games, Gurus, you can bet. They're later. The Grambling money line, Pistons at Washington take the points. Eagles money line, and again, you can bet optional money line. I did on Detroit. These games you can still get in. I posted these earlier about 11 o'clock on TikTok, Twitter X, which gave you at least an hour to get everything in. Eagles money line, and we're having that conversation right now. And then this secondary one, which we've had up, the Spurs. So Mark commented they start at 12:30. You got time. Well, whatever. It's already on TikTok, Twitter, viewers. Again, this show is a follow-up from the weekend. We hit all 3 NFL games. We're staying with the Eagles tonight, which will be our 4th game. Real quickly about the Bills. I do want to say this about the Buffalo game. I have a future with Buffalo to win the whole thing at 20-1. I bet it about 6 weeks ago. When they got their new coordinator and they won, I bet it after that game. I think it was against New England, I believe. Anyway, I bet it because I had a feeling they're going to make a run. And that's exactly what they've done. So I have a nice future on this. They're laying a big number. There's no Watt for the Steelers. They have a backup quarterback who's actually they're winning with Pittsburgh. I don't have Rudolph's his name. I don't have a problem with that. I don't like the value of the game, Gurus. The weather's going to be atrocious. They've moved it back twice. That will favor Buffalo. I think Watt's out will favor Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins. I think the spread is ridiculous, but I think they cover, and I'll tell you why, Gurus. Last year, Buffalo played Miami, I believe, with a backup, and Miami covered. They almost beat them outright. We saw problems with Buffalo last year. This year, we see a team that's very focused, determined, winning their games, finishing their games, playing good team football, both on both sides of the ball. I see Buffalo handling this game, but again, I think the value is so ridiculous. We know Tomlin's a good coach, but I'm looking for an end game on the Bills. I'm not looking for an end game on the Steelers. That's what I'm looking for, Guru. So if you need an opinion on that, I thought I'd share that with you as well. I think my only side in this game is the Bills, and I'll stand by that. And if I get an in-game opportunity, I will bet it with Buffalo, as long as I'm laying just a little bit. That's fine. And that's when the other game. So you have the Spurs Bulls, where we talked about these, Gurus. Now, going back to this Philly game, this is the night game. So no matter what happens in these Piston, I think these are all late games actually. So I'll be looking forward to this round robin and spending the rest of the day. My mom is still here, which is a blessing. She'll be going back this week, but I've been spending a lot of time with her. And Mark has been out. He just hasn't been doing very well since he's come back. He's got some health problems going on, but he will be on the show. He's still sending comments and things like that, and he helps me, Gurus, and that's what the most important thing. We have a lot to look forward to. You guys, we have the rest of college basketball, which is going to go 2 more months. It's the 15th. The conference tournament games start the second week of March. That means they'll be ending yesterday, about this day. So we have 2 more months of a lot of college basketball. Get ready, because that's what our show is focused. Our foundation is college basketball. That's how we're going to make money. But we have to hold our own in the NBA. We have 4 NBA games today, so we need to hold our own. We've been out doing outstanding in the NBA lately, and I will hope that continues. This will be a good indication today. We'll see how things go today. We're dogs in every game. I like that, especially in the NBA. But we're strapping it on. We're giving you guys good bets, and that's why the shows the bets are competing, making some money. We're close to being in the black if we're not already, gurus, and I'm proud of that. That takes a lot of work. A lot of weeks have gone by. I think we're in our 9th week starting this week. And, it goes fast, gurus, but we're building a legacy. Every time I put these videos on TikTok, Twitter, that's just another day of we're building our inventory of games we're releasing so people have more confidence in my show and in my picks and in my company, because that's why I'm doing this. We want to change the world here. We want to make people better. We want to make them accountable. ESPN is not accountable. All they're doing is laughing at Dallas. They've spent about 45 minutes of their first hour, or at least a half hour, only talking about Dallas and what they need to do for next season. Again, how that helps you pick winners today, I'll never know. I don't know, because that's not how Guru operates. I'm thinking about today's games. Is it fun to watch him make fun of Dallas? Yeah, I guess if that turns you on, it's not a bad thing. I didn't bet Dallas. So do I care? No, I don't. Is it interesting at some level? It's kind of cute, but it's not helping me pick winners today, gurus. And every network's talking about Dallas and are they going to get Belichick and who's their next head coach? And who cares? That's next year. There's 2 NFL games today. There's about 30 college basketball, and there's about 8 NBA games. We have to look at those and try to make some money. That's what we're here for. We don't give a shit that they got blown out at home. Is it funny? Yes, it is funny actually, because Jones spends a lot of money on this Cowboy team. It is news. A lot of money was spent for this team to be a competitive team, and they're not when it comes to the postseason. And that's on him. I don't give a shit. I'm looking at these games tonight. There's yesterday's news to me, Dallas. But we have it, all these games. This game we have won a little about 10% more on, because it's an NFL game. Some money lines, 10 to 20% more, gurus. Take your NBA. Got some value there. So if we got 2 road teams and a home, we're going to go 2-1. Hopefully go 3-0. Keep this NBA going. We want to obviously. Let's see. We want to share. We want to like. We want to share, gurus. I've been asking you for that since week 1. Our show started with nothing. In order for it to be solvent, we have to have a tremendous amount of followers. And I understand that takes time, but you can help me get there, gurus. And I need your help. So please help me. Share, subscribe. You already have, but share it and have them subscribe. That'll help build my show. We're giving you out winning picks, so that's your way of helping give back to Guru, and I appreciate that. So what I want you to do is enjoy these playoffs. They're going to start here pretty soon. Buffalo is going to kick off pretty soon. I gave you my thoughts on that. That's going to be an end game for me at some point, perhaps, if there's a chance for me to win with Buffalo and laid some reasonable points or money line. Other than that, I'm waiting for the Eagles tonight and the round robins I gave you today. So enjoy these games today, gurus. We'll be back tomorrow. There'll be more college basketball this week. Now we're going to enter prime time season. We're all in the conference tournament, conference games right now. Pretty every game's a conference game, and we'll just keep hammering that out until March Madness starts, gurus, and then we go into the NBA playoffs, the NHL, if we're doing anything with that, and Major League Baseball starts April 1st. That goes for 6 months. So, we'll take it a day at a time. We're going to have fun. We've been having fun. Enjoy these picks. Enjoy your new outlook on these games and your observation. And I hope you're growing, you're empowering yourself. That's why we started this show, because these idiots on Disney, ESPN, they can't help you. They can't pick games. All they can do is make fun of teams and speculate about stupidity. That doesn't even not even going to happen for a year to 6 months. So what? These guys are a waste, right? They're basically clowns. They're characters. I'm not into that. I watch a little bit for highlights' sake. At the end of the night, I like to see how my teams are doing. But the truth is, gurus, my love is for sports betting. It's not for sports news. And it's also, I love sports watching. I like watching the games. Do I care as much about the highlights? I do, to an extent where I want to know what happened to the games I bet if I didn't watch them. So for that reason, they're useful, ESPN. But other than that, they're worthless. And that includes all the networks. So anyway, gurus, come back tomorrow. We're going to shoot here 12 to 1 live Monday through Friday. And we'll see about Sunday. There'll be more college basketball on Sunday. So we'll probably do a show Sunday of next week. But definitely through this week, we're going to be doing games, doing our show, and releasing our picks. And I always post on TikTok, Twitter, my round robins to give you even more time to get those bets in as well, to get those games in as well. So keep coming back. I enjoy doing this show with you. It's a big part of my brand, and we want this to grow exponentially with everything else. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon. I want to thank you for being here with us today. God bless you. I love you, and see you tomorrow.